Anxiety is a fear of the future. Because everything that we're waiting for lies in the future, in tomorrow. And we're not there yet. So we can't rest. We can't be okay. We can't be satiated. We can't relax because we're not there yet. And of course, tomorrow never comes. Hello. Why do we focus so much on what we need to achieve? We need to achieve in terms of, I'm talking about people who are also quite conscious, who are aware of who they really are, who know that they are a human for a brief moment, a blink of the eye, who know they are eternal beings. But yet we fall for this idea that we have to be a successful one of service, ticking off all the boxes of being virtuous, that we have to have a clear path paved out in order for us to feel that we have made it here, that finally we are about living the truthful way. And that if we have not made it there yet, we are not living a life of complete flow, ease, and grace. If we do not know what it is that we are meant to be of service around in this life, if we have not achieved that level of clarity, if we have not found our community, our tribe, so that we have the demand for our service, so that we are finding our niche, so we fit in, then we are not successful yet here. We haven't made it. We're not good enough. And even though I say that out loud, it sounds ridiculous, because we know that that's not what it's about. It's still the driving force behind a lot of our lives. We wonder why we wake up anxious. Anxiety is a fear of the future. Because everything that we're waiting for lies in the future, in tomorrow. And we're not there yet. So we can't rest. We can't be okay. We can't be satiated. We can't relax because we're not there yet. And of course, tomorrow never comes. We know that fear only exists in this idea of tomorrow or yesterday, regrets and fears. The reason I brought this up is because I have a lot of clients, and in my own life, where this is the eternal struggle. We know that we're on the right track, yeah, and that we have the right priorities in terms of what is true and what is virtuous. We know what it feels like to be in our heart and to make decisions based in our heart, based on spirit. We know the difference between living in the mind and living for the external world and its illusions and temporary gratifications. We know all this. And so we are setting out on this life to still find some destination. This is what I find in a lot of people around me. We're still not there yet. So we are still basing our reality, our entire experience, on an illusion. So I wanted to just address what is probably the most important foundation that we should be looking at first. Before we worry about being of service, finding our niche, we need to fix the foundation. If you look at mainstream psychology, they talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's a triangle. And the very base of the triangle is the basic needs that a human requires: food, shelter, other people, connection. We cannot reach the higher levels of this triangle, and the very peak being self-realization, until we take care of those base needs. We simply do not have the resources, the energy, the scope, the perceptive abilities to see what we need if we haven't dealt with the bottom part, the basics, the foundation, the survival part. Now, this Maslow's hierarchy is very much a three-dimensional, 3D view of surviving in this world. How do we meet our needs, and what priority are they met in? To be optimized so that we can live the best we can with the knowledge and resources we have. But you see, my approach and my understanding is beyond this 3D world. In fact, what I find is most clients who come to me have saturated all the efforts within that scope and are still left wanting. There's still a void within them. There's still a deep unease and unhappiness. So I've been thinking about this Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and how can we look at that and replace this basic idea of survival with something from a higher level of perception. For those like you and me who we're on the noble path, the hero's journey. We know what we need and what's important, but we're a little bit mixed up about the order of things. And so we constantly burn out. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. There's this like constant frustration because there's something missing. And so I want to address the foundation. What is the foundation of a spiritual life, of someone who wants to embrace all aspects of their multidimensionality while they're here and be of service to others? And I think that we need to remember, we're going to treat the foundation as the most important. The foundation needs to be know thyself. And I'm not talking about work out what you're interested in and your hobbies and what makes your heart sing. I'm not necessarily talking about that. That forms part of it. Know thyself in this context for someone who's a serious seeker. Know thyself means know who you are and know who you are not. And when you begin to really operate from knowing who you are and who you are not, you are no longer thrown around by the illusions of tomorrow. This constant striving for some illusion in tomorrow, where you'll be enough finally, where you'll get there. So this foundation, how do we know ourselves, is not through any means with the mind. The mind is a set of programs. It's a tool to truly know ourselves, to build that strong foundation for us to go out into the world and create a life of service. We must commune with our I am presence. That is who you truly are. The I am. Pure loving consciousness, pure awareness, pure consciousness, eternal being. So to commune with your true self, you have to step out of who you are not. Who you are not is this self-image, is the name you've given yourself, is the color of your skin, is the identity you've given yourself, your likes and dislikes, your friends, your community, the choices you've made in this life, the things you own, the work you might be doing right now. These are who you are not. You are not any of this. So how do we really commune with our true self and not with the things we are not? Well, we have to step out of the three-dimensional or simulated experience, all that we are not. This simulated experience gives us the illusion of time. We are not time. We exist outside of time. So we need to step out of time and space and all these things that we are not in order for us to know thyself. How do we do that? We do that through stillness. We enter into stillness most easily through focusing on our breath. The breath is the doorway to our true self. And so it is vital, I believe, that if you are someone who's struggling to be of service, to find your niche with noble goals and heartfelt pursuit, but you're still struggling, you need to get to this foundation and meet that need to know thyself first, so that you are no longer fooled by all the illusion of what you are not. So entering into stillness, the stepping out of all of these things that you might have been fooled into being identified as. And of course, when you are in stillness, you are communing with your source, who you really are. So you receive that inspiration, that guidance, the wisdom and intelligence of your true higher self. That information that you receive when you are communing with Source in stillness is what you take back into this time and space reality. That is how you find your niche here. There is no resistance. There is no fight. There is no confusion. There is no struggle. There is pure peace. Because you received that message loud and clear when you were in stillness, not when you were motivated out of fear. So I hope this has been helpful for you. This has been really helpful for me. This is how I started my intuitive coaching and counseling practice, through this process when I was lost and I knew that there was something important for me to do here while I'm having a human experience, but I was struggling. Please like, share, and subscribe if this has been helpful for you, and have a beautiful day. See ya.